Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm just doing a little bit of house cleaning here. So I've switched up my view here a little bit, so things will look a little bit different. Just want to put that over there out of the way. So I'm just taking a little bit of a breath here and calling on my guides and ancestors to come into this reading, my enlightened ancestors, mind you, to come into this reading with some guidance for the collective. I am intending for this to be a quicker reading than I normally do, because y'all know, if you've watched for a while, I can go on. I just heard that Celine Dion song, My Heart Will Go On. My heart will go on after the reading, but yes, definitely wanted to just kind of set the stage there, and let's go ahead and begin. So first, I want to make sure I cleanse the space a little bit. So I cannot find my cedar for some reason. My cedar stick, ooh, sorry, unicorn. Can't find my cedar stick, so I'm using what I still have left over to just cleanse the space also. Okay, there we go. Ooh, it's a little OCD there too. All right, so let's go ahead. I want to first get a little bit of a theme of what we're dealing with this week. We do have a full moon coming up. I will have a full moon reading out. That is also a general reading. But I am doing January readings. I'll be doing those over the weekend, and hopefully they will be, I'll start the first half of the zodiac done the first half of the week, and the second half toward the last half of the week. So let's go ahead and get started here. Just one card, Spirit, one card. You're already giving me a card. Great. The Offering. Ooh, I feel like this card has come out in a recent reading before, but this is definitely about, sorry, make sure all this is plugged in. So this is definitely about what we're giving. Actually, I've had a little bit of a journey with this offering myself, because this is a, one, it's a question of what are you willing to give, but also it's a question of what are you willing to let people see? What are you allowing people to see? Are you allowing people to see the work that you're doing? Are you allowing people to see, behind the curtains? That's what I'm hearing. Are you allowing people to see the inner workings of, what goes on in your life? Of course, there are some things that you should keep in mind when you're doing this kind of work. Of course, you're watching your boundaries, but at a certain level, there's a mystery, but there's also a sharing that is attached to doing the spiritual work that you're doing, or the work on yourself that you're doing, which is, I consider that spiritual work when you're doing work on yourself. So not so much, everything else. It mostly is focused on what work are you doing for yourself. And so this offering card here just kind of brings up these ideas about and just thinking about even what are we giving? Are we offering a behind the scenes look at the work that we're doing? Are we offering ourselves in some way that doesn't, hurt us or harm us, of course, but what is it that we are willing to give in order to receive? And this also speaks to, right? This also speaks to the masculine feminine relationship that we have within ourselves. how does one speak to the other, right? How does one engage with the other? How does one find itself in the other, right? And that's a beautiful thing to think about, but of course it's a very hard thing a lot of times when we're just starting our journeys, when we're just getting into our shadow work, when we're just, getting into our spiritual journeys, which is the journey into the self, really. That's how I interpret it. So I'm going to put this aside and we're going to take a look at the tarot offering. And then we'll delve into maybe some details here that you might resonate with or not. It's fine if you don't resonate with it, of course. But just definitely want you all to be in connection with your own journey. Honor your body, honor yourself, honor your journey. Keep yourself protected, of course. Okay, let's see. Oops, look at that. So pre-shuffle. I'm just going to do a pre-shuffle here. You've got the 10 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, there's some sort of like emotional dumping coming out, that you might even be subject to someone's emotionalities. You might even be receiving someone's emotional confession. Pre-shuffle here again, we've got the Death card. Someone has been transformed, or you are transformed. There's an emotional dumping out here. It's so interesting. There's some sort of decision being made, it looks like. A decision about ideas, things that might have been blocked off, some sort of clarity that you might not even understand this. This might be something else that's coming in externally, but this could be about typically when we're talking. Okay, so we're talking about water signs here. Water sign again, because the Death card is Scorpio. And then we also have the sorry, I want to call it the Pope card. That's so interesting, because we did have, it is technically the Pope, but this is the card of the sign of Taurus. And then we also have an air sign card here with the Two of Swords. This is decision making. This is either not seeing that there's a choice between two things, or being blind about a decision, or an offer, some sort of a new thought being drawn in. According to this card, a new thought being drawn in from the heavens to match your thought. So clarity, confirmation, but you still haven't made a decision as to which sword you are going to wield, right? Or even how those two ideas are going to come together into one. So it could be there is this, something happens where someone is coming forward to you, and this causes you to, either you or the other person is talking about this, but this causes you to have some sort of a deep transformation. Yeah, and it's almost, even when I talk about deep transformation here, I am absolutely talking about, this is a complete leaving behind of an old part of the self, right? This is death, or the figure of death, inviting you along. And as you can see in this card here, it's not inviting you along into the dark. It's inviting you along into the valley that leads to another mountain, right? And here, beyond that, we have sunshine. We have, it's very dark back there, but it looks like the moon, or even an eclipse sort of a view. So it could be that you are having this epiphany, right? Which is confirmed here with the Two of Swords. There's an epiphany, right? But it's all about, this Two of Swords is also saying, this is up to you, right? This is up to you, your decision, your choice. But it is divinely blessed. It is divinely blessed. It is divinely blessed. And this is, I'm trying to find the words for it to describe it, but it's almost like a change in personal philosophy. Even taking your own spiritual authority back. So and that might be the biggest change here that's happening, because look at what's at the bottom of the deck here. We have the sun, we have clarity, we have the sign of Leo, but this is definitely happiness and joy. You're moving, you are redirecting here toward happiness, and that's in the pre-shuffle. So let's go ahead and do a little bit more. I'm going to put this deck aside. Actually, I'm going to keep the cards out. And we'll put these cards to the side and pull out another deck. Which deck? Which deck do I want to use? You know what? I want to delve into, I use this Body Tarot cards, or Body Tarot deck, and it has been so fulfilling to engage with the body, get in touch with the body, and let the body, you know, there's that book, The Body Keeps the Score, which is a really good book to learn about trauma and learn how trauma is manifesting in your body. And so you start listening to the story that your body tells. And so I want to start focusing on that on this channel, is focusing on the body, the divinity in the body, the divination in the body, right? Because it's already available to you if you sit and listen, but there is also a way to divine with the body, right? It's always there. Okay, so Spirit, can you give us, thank you. We've got ease, the Two of Water. I don't read these in the reverse, so yeah, we've got the Heart, the Fool card, self-care, Seven of Earth, achievement. Okay. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Earth, payoff. All right, so it looks as, you know, we've got the pre-shuffle where we looked at it, right? This is about happiness, transformation, some sort of emotional offloading, where we have, it's almost as if either someone is coming to us and releasing something, releasing their emotions. Maybe they have gone through a transformation. Maybe their thoughts have changed. Maybe their idea of their own personal spiritual authority has changed. But otherwise, on top of that, this is happiness, right? This is happiness. It's clarity, seeing clearly. But let's look. The expanded story here is the story of the payoff. So Ace of Earth is Ace of Pentacles, and I'll go ahead and read from the book, because I do this deck is a little different because it's got 6 elements, I believe. 5 elements. No, it's got 5 elements. Excuse me. So at the bottom of the deck here, this is a payoff. Something happened here that has paid off, right? The Two of Water. This is also associated, let's see, I believe that's not the bladder. There's the stomach, and I don't know what this body part is, but there's something here that is fulfilling, right? It's filling, because we have the stomach here. Now with the Two of Water, this is of course related to the Two of Cups. This is soulmate, right? But it's also about ease. When you're finally like matching what's meant for you, coming into alignment with what's meant for you, because, you know, there's, on one hand, you've discovered your own cup, right? And then on the other hand, on your spiritual journey, you have run into the part of your life, the path of your life that holds the other cup. Not necessarily another person. It doesn't have to be. I like to think of it as meeting yourself along the way, right? So here we have both of the kidneys as well as the bladder. And if you think about it, think about emotions as water. What we build up into our kidneys that gets filtered out, into our bladder. That's where they join, is in the bladder, right? But, you know, there is this idea of everything finally coming together, and there is ease because the two match, right? The two cups hold the same thing, and they meet along the way in the bladder and release. And the cycle continues, right? As long as we continue to pay attention to our bodies and feed ourselves the emotions and the love that we need. And here we come to the heart, because this is perfect. This is self-care. That's really all this is. The repetition of a healthy cycle is self-care. The repetition of feeding ourselves, drinking what we need, eating what we need, brings us to this idea that, oh, that's self-care. This is a new journey here. The heart is renewed. This is also a fire element too. This is connected to passion. This is connected to being renewed. Once we meet ourselves along the way, right? We meet ourselves along the way. We have balanced ourselves. We've come into a new era of self-care. We're in this heart space. We're in this heart energy where we recognize repeating the cycle over and over and over again is that full energy. We dare to step off the ledge into self-care, right? I'm just thinking of the Fool card because it is representative of the Fool card, and the historical Fool card is this person who's young and carefree and looks as if his next step is going to be off of a cliff. But they are willing to take that chance, right? This is also connected, the Fool card is also connected to the planet Uranus, and Uranus is all about new beginnings, change. This is something that comes into your life for good reason. It's not quite a tower. It is change that you are actually making yourself, not change that you're leaving up to someone else to make, okay? And I think that's maturity. When we look at the Seven of Earth, this is equivalent again to this payoff. This is achievement and payoff kind of aligning here, definitely aligning here, because we have the Seven of Earth. We again have the sense of feeding ourselves and repeating a cycle, because we know that this particular cycle with the Seven of Earth, this is now in a positive light of this is the big payoff. This is the payoff. This is what we get in return, is we get to do it over and over and over again. This is a blessing. This is a gift. Beautiful. Okay, so I had an idea to get out my Who cards and maybe get some clues here as to who or what might be influential in this process. This is definitely just a self process, but let's see what the cards have to say. Let's see, Spirit, can you give us a card for the collective? A friend, an acquaintance, or a coworker could be instrumental here. Someone coming in as a partner or a companion. Okay. And ooh, we have karmic here. Now, okay. And it's interesting that it fell under the Seven of Earth. So what I do want to say here, because the karmic, here's the thing. And I'm just going to say this very honestly. I cannot speak to the nature of karma because I'm not a devout Buddhist. But I will say, in your approach to learning about this card called the karmic, right? If you are putting good into yourself, you will recognize what's good for you and what's not good for you. And you'll immediately leave the situation because you know how to meet yourself along the way, and you know how to feed yourself and gift yourself the water and emotion that you need, right? And the achievement will be you recognizing the nature of the karma that has arrived. And I won't speak to it again, but I will go on beyond that nature of the karmic and say, or karma, karmic, I will say that when it comes along again, you'll know it. And the hard decision is this good enough for me to align myself to? Or is this something that I cannot align myself to? And then it is you that makes the decision, it is you that makes the decision what the karma is. And you take your power back once you really pull in on that. I'll say that. And again, it comes back to this offering card. Are you willing to let people see your process? Are you willing to allow people in? Are you willing to let people see, the inner workings of the work that you do for yourself, right? Because if not, again, I can't speak to karma. I did take yoga classes with yoga teacher training with an Indian man who grew up on an ashram and offered online teaching through the pandemic. But again, I would consult some of the Buddhist materials, or even get into that. Also could be with this Hierophant, that's the word. With the Hierophant, this could also be a change in your religious nature. Maybe you want to go down the path of Buddhism, and there is where you find clarity. There is where you find an understanding of the spiritual self even. So now I'm going to pull my Grandma Baby black and gold Lenormand cards. And let's see what Spirit has to say here. What guidance might be here for us for this week. Got the broom. Love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. When I was a kid, and my grandmother, my dad's mom, lived in a port city, and my dad grew up in the projects of that city. So interesting. I think he might be coming through in this reading. Interesting. Ship. Yeah, my dad, as I was saying, my grandmother lived in a port city. My father grew up in a port city, and grew up in like the projects of that city. And that card came out, the ship card came out. Mountain. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so I was talking about basically the broom card let me put it this way. So my grandmother lived in this house in the projects, had a tiny yard, very tiny yard, like tiny front yard. Backyard was pretty big, but the front yard was just small patches of grass, and they went around the house. But so in the summer, she would have us like sweep the yard. Not so much sweep the yard, but like we would sweep the porch, sweep the steps, sweep the sidewalk, and then on some levels we would, where the grass had been worn down by people walking on it so much, she would have us sweep that too, like with the broom. And I never understood that, because I was like, we're just continually sweeping dirt at this point. But it goes back to that, talking about the nature of that cycle of constantly cleaning off your porch, constantly cleaning your walkway, because you want to allow guests to come in. Once you invite them past the gate, we were not allowed to go past the gate at all. Didn't matter. It was I never understood why. Because the sidewalk was the only thing there, and then the street. So like nothing was protecting us except for the gate. Didn't matter. Anyway, so yeah. This is talking about the continual cycle of cleaning. and what it means to clean over and over again for yourself. Clean for yourself. We're going into a new calendar year. For me, it doesn't quite seem like it's new, but it does feel like I'm sweeping out old stuff from last year still, and I'll probably still be in that mode until probably March. Hopefully it'll be over in March, I hope. But then we also talk about the ship here, and that came out as I was talking about my grandmother and my father, and basically his whole family growing up in that particular area, in that particular city. And there is this idea here of not only having this process for yourself, this healthy cycle process for yourself, but looking at this ship, it is this preparation that keeps you ready. It keeps you ready to move or join with or visit or whatever, what have you. It keeps you in a space of being open to collaboration, right? If collaboration is your calling, if it is in your wheelhouse. Again, the broom keeps the porch clean, keeps the walkway clean. And you're constantly doing it over and over again. You're constantly cleaning over and over again. But what it does, it is allowing you the space to leave if you need to. And it is also allowing this ability to welcome someone in who shows up. And it's two-way energy. It's two-way energy, right? And so the last card that we have out is the Mountain and the Karmic and the Seven of the Earth. Sometimes this cycle might feel like an uphill battle, and it is up to you to really think about, where are you going? And once you get there, what is going to be, when you get there, right? What is the outcome? And the Mountain here, this is the first time I think I've drawn the Mountain in this deck. And all of these cards, by the way, the photos in them come from the Library of Congress, and they were artistically enhanced by the creator of this deck, which is, I think, is just so beautiful. But let's take a look, because it looks as if the Mountain has the number 21 to it, which correlates to the World card, which is the end of a cycle, right? What is the end of a cycle? In this instance, when I look at the Mountain. So as someone, I tried to be a mountaineer. I am still on the mountain in my mind and in my pursuit. But there is this thing when you are a person who does a lot of outdoors activities, not necessarily that you have to, but just giving you kind of an understanding. You are not your climb, your mountaineering attempt, your run, your trail run, your hike, if you're going rock climbing and it's like a multi-pitch climb and you're doing all this technical stuff. The fun is not, the payoff isn't there. Nothing works until you are back at your car, you're back at home, you're back with your loved ones, and you're safe. That is what I consider, and what a lot of outdoorsy, outdoor adventurers, some of them, mind you, some of them, that's what a lot of them think about, is that is the real knowing that you've had a good outing, is you've come home with all your stuff, all your appendages, all with your life, you've come home. That is the successful attempt. That is the successful outing, even. It's not so much that you summit the mountain, because you still have to come down the mountain. You still have to pack your stuff up. You still have to carry everything that you brought up to the summit back down to your car. Excuse me. And that is the cycle. That is the Seven of Earth. That's That's the cycle, right? And sometimes there is a way that we face ourselves along the way. And we have to discern for ourselves what karma is, right? Because I can't tell you about the karma in your life. Only you know that. I can't tell you about karma, period. Right? Only you can say whether or not this is karmic, or this is karma, or what kind of karma it even is. But at the end of the day, look at that. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Clover card. I hope you all can see that. I'm sorry if it's not very clear. Here is the broom, the ship, and the mountain. Then at the bottom of the deck, we have the clover. And of course, we all know what clover is, and clover means, it means luck. It means payoff, right? To me, it's equivalent to payoff. It's equivalent to payoff. And it's of the earth. It's a gift from the earth to you. So that is your general collective reading for the week. I will be back to do a full moon reading on January 6th. And of course, the monthly sign readings, collective sign readings, next week. Okay, thank you so much. Have a beautiful week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.